Let's look at comparing the appearance of different types of tissue. This is the syllabus objective. You need to be able to use a light microscope or photographs to be able to compare the 4 different types of tissue: epithelial, connective, muscle and nervous tissues. So let's look at those specific characteristics of those 4 different types. I'm going to talk about this again at the end, but essentially connective tissue, this is the things like bones and its ligaments and tendons and things that hold the body together. So you will see that they have lots of fibers. So connective tissue is fibrous. Epithelial tissue, the epithelium is what it covers the surfaces of our body, internal and external. So you see they have a lot of cuboid type cells all packed together in sheets. Muscle tissue, muscle works by being contractile. So you will see that it has these striations or stripes. And nervous tissue, well, it kind of looks like nerves or neurons. Okay, so we'll talk about those again at the end, but let's have a look at some specific examples. So what is tissue first of all? Well, tissue is a group of cells that work together to perform a specific function. Often we might have a number of different cells that work together as part of that tissue. And there's 4 types of tissue in the body. So the connective tissue provides the support and the connection. So the epithelial tissue is what provides the coverings of the skin, but also the internal linings. So it's like inside the mouth, but all the way through the respiratory and digestive systems. Of course, we've got muscle tissue, which forms the skeletal muscles, but it also forms the smooth muscles, which are inside our blood vessels, inside our stomach, and also cardiac muscle, which obviously forms the heart. And then, of course, we've got nerve tissue, which is neurons, and that is together as nerves. So let's have a look at some examples. So here's some examples of connective tissue. So the main thing we can see is that it's fibrous. Okay, it has these fibers. All right, so this is cartilage, the cartilage that lines joints. This is a tendon. And then we've got what we call loose connective tissue and fibrous connective tissue. So with the loose connective tissue, we see we've got these strands of collagen. So, you might have heard of collagen. It's a fiber that holds lots of things together. And there's gaps in between with cells. And then, of course, we've got the fibrous connective tissue. So connective tissue we're going to find is generally fairly fibrous. You can see fibers in it. Epithelium covers the internal and external surface of the body. It covers the body cavities and the hollow organs, like inside the stomach and inside the lungs, etc. It provides protection, but also secretion of acid and mucus and enzymes, and also is involved in absorption, so gas exchange in the alveolus, or absorption of nutrients in the small intestine. So epithelial tissue lines the body surfaces and the organs. And so here's some examples of some epithelial tissue. We can see that they tend to be cuboid or boxy, and they're tightly packed together. And you'll see they also have a free edge. So this is the lumen of the small intestine. The lumen being the inside tube, and so these epithelial tissue actually provide the lining of that small intestine, and they're packed together in a sheet. So we see epithelial tissue, boxy cuboid type cells packed together very closely to form a sheet, to form a surface. And here's the epithelium in the esophagus as well. Okay, squamous means sort of like flat, and then this is the surface of the esophagus. With muscle tissue, skeletal muscle, you see that it's striated or has stripes. That's the contractile elements, and then you can see the cell body, and then you can see the nucleus, and sometimes you can see the mitochondria as well. Yeah, so they're striated. Now, with cardiac muscle, we can see that it actually has sort of branches to it. So you can see two branches coming off here, and then we have the smooth muscle, and you can see the mitochondria here because it's highly energetic. And neural tissue, of course, it looks like neurons, but also when, like a nerve, like the sciatic nerve, the nerves that run down the arms and legs, or the spinal cord, well, that's got a whole heap of neurons all packed together. So if we were to look at a cross-section of that, we can see it's like a nerve bundle. So the syllabus asks us to be able to use a light microscope or photographs to compare the different types of tissue. If we have a look at an organ like the stomach or the small intestine or the lung, we will see that it's got a range of different tissue types. It's going to have all of these different tissue types, and hopefully we'll be able to identify the different parts based on what we know about their appearance and also their function. So we're going to see those fibrous tissues that have like a matrix, a collagen matrix with sort of cells in between. That's the connective tissue that holds it all together. We're going to see that the surface has a sheet of boxy cells that are tightly packed together, and they'll have a free edge in the lumen. We'll see also that there's muscle tissue, and that muscle tissue is generally striated, and you can see the nuclei and sometimes the mitochondria. And you'll also see there's going to be nervous tissue that chances are it's going to look like nerves. All right, so not easy to do, but if you understand the context and then understand those basic principles, I think you're going to be okay. Good luck.